And it's not necessarily always an urge to use drugs. It's more of just like a fighting against the old lifestyle, fighting against the old mindset, you know.
What's your name?
My name's Lucas Johnson.
Lucas Johnson. It's good to meet you, man. And how long you been here?
I've been here about 3, almost 4 months.
4 months?
Yeah.
And how long you got sober, clean?
I'm also going on 3, almost 4 months. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Did you come from streets, from jail?
I came out of Sullivan County Jail. I was in a Christian recovery program previous to this, and I ended up relapsing. So I turned myself in. Apparently I had a probation violation. I ended up being able to get that job where I've been in a recovery previous to this. So
Nice.
yeah.
So how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
20? And you're serving state sentence?
Well, right now I'm charged. I'm not sentenced yet, so I'll be going to court for that at the end of this month.
Okay. You worried about it, or?
I'm nervous. I wouldn't say worried. You know, I think whatever happens, happens. There's nothing I can do about it now. I just know that if I'm doing the right thing, chances are things will turn out a little bit better for me.
Righteous. So with that, is this I'm guessing it's your first time in recovery? Would that be correct?
Outside of that Christian recovery program I was in, yeah, it's my first time in sober living.
Okay.
All of that.
How are you finding it? Like, what's your life like right now?
Well, I was really nervous at first, honestly, coming in, living in a house with a bunch of people I don't know. But when Craig came in and into the jail in Sullivan County, he told me, he's like, I'm going to put you in the best house we have. And, you know, I didn't really know whether I could trust him or not at that point, but he seemed like a good dude, you know. And I came in, and these guys have done nothing but help me and encourage me. So it's been really good coming into this environment, you know. Right now, I'm working a job at Nick's restaurant down the road, going to AA meetings, spending time with my daughter, you know, and I don't really do much outside of that, and I'm content with that. So
Awesome. So if you don't mind, I'd like to know a little bit about what keeps you here, or like what propels your life into recovery.
So you know, one of the biggest motivators for me is my daughter. You know, in my addiction, I let a lot of people down. You know, I missed the first 8 months of my daughter's life, you know, and I got into jail, and, you know, the first, you know, time I communicated with my family, and there was a letter from my grandmother. And then shortly after, my mom started setting up visits and things like that. But my family is a big motivator, but also, like, there's kind of been a lifestyle change, and it's just a lifestyle that I don't want to go back to. You know, I'm not completely sure that I would even live through it. You know, sometimes I say it's like I'm fighting for my life in recovery, and it really is, man. Like, and it's not necessarily always an urge to use drugs. It's more of just like a fighting against the old lifestyle, fighting against the old mindset, you know?
What would that mindset be? I guess, like, most of the time, addicts, alcoholics, we use because we like, or drink because we like the way it makes us feel, but there's often some trivial excuse behind it, which is a way to explain what I think is an insight to what's going on in our minds. So if you were to answer that question, which would look something like, why is it do you think you were using?
For me, it was an escape, you know.
What are you trying to escape from?
Just, you know, there was some, I wouldn't even say trauma, there was just some things that happened in my childhood. You know, my parents went through a divorce around the time I was 14, and I became really close with my brother. And by no means do I blame any of it on him, but, you know, when I was 14 or 15, I found out that he was using. Because I was looking for drugs myself, and I ended up finding some in his room. At the time, I had no idea that he was using. So that night, me and one of my buddies got high with my brother for the first time. You know, and that's kind of where my drug use started. And at first it was fun, you know, hang out with my brother, hang out with my friends and stuff. But at some point it kind of transitioned as an escape to, you know, the things that I didn't want to address in my life, whether it be my parents' divorce or just anything I had going on. So yeah.
So now you're having to confront those things, maybe for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it, maybe some impactful moments within your addiction that make you feel like you're in the right place?
I think the very first time I realized like I need to, like something needs to change, or maybe I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back at it, I know something needed to change. I had a friend that I had been staying with, and I'd went to hang out with a girl, and you know, I had mixed my drugs that day, and I didn't know that the pill I was going to take had fentanyl in it, you know, and that's really common right now. So I overdosed, you know, and the girl, she called my buddy, and he, you know, he took his papa's truck and came and Narcaned me and saved my life. Somewhere around a year later, I was in jail, and I got the call that he had died from the same drugs I was using. So, you know, at the time when I overdosed, you know, you would think that literally almost dying, like it'd have been enough to stop, but the next day I turned around and did the same thing again, you know. So it was, I don't know, almost insanity, you know.
Yeah, we become almost desensitized to it, like it's just part of the territory where we exist at. I spoke to you earlier, and you talked about you don't have much vivid memory because of your drugs of choice or drugs of no choice or benzos. So obviously the memory, right? But
yeah.
So if we look at it, and you talked a little bit about what it was like arriving here, and the guys surrounded you, and it's good community, solid, good energy, good vibes, all that, and they lifting you up. But I would like to know what you're most hopeful for today.
What I'm most hopeful for today. You know, at some point, you know, I want to find a job that is a career. You know, right now I'm just working at a local chicken restaurant, and you know, I'm a chef there, so that's all good and well. But at some point I want to definitely start my own career, and whether that looks like owning my own small business or just going into a trade, I'm not sure. But that's what I'm hopeful for, just to be, you know, have a sense of stability, be able to get my own home, things like that. But also, I have this dream of starting like a youth community center, just to help kids that come from either broken homes, you know, drug-infested homes, whatever it might be, you know, to help them be steered away from, you know, the system, incarceration, drug use, things like that. Because I do believe if there was something like that, and if I would have been involved in it, you know, that my circumstances might be different today.
Okay, right. So I love both of those things. Absolutely doable. But if you were to talk about what shout out bass music, if you were to talk about what few ingredients you think were the things you were lacking in your childhood, what would those three things be, and how would you...
The things I was lacking growing up?
So and then how would you fulfill those things for other people?
So, a lot of times, like, we go through things, and this is just my personal opinion, but a lot of times we go through things and we expect something of people that they can't necessarily give us. You know, and sometimes that's heartbreaking because it's your parents or somebody that you love deeply. But the best thing you can do, and something that I didn't have, is a community that I surrounded myself with, you know. The kind of the people I ended up surrounding myself with was my brother and his friends, and like I said, they were using, so it wasn't going to guide me anywhere that was, you know, helpful or, you know, help me achieve any kind of goals for my life. Three things, huh? You know, I think the best thing I can do moving forward is just be, or I guess I could have had as a kid, was someone that told me that throughout the struggles that there was someone that loved me. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I always got the generic, I love you, you know, but there wasn't like someone during the times where it was really rough that was like, you know, I hope you're doing okay, like, how are you, like, I love you, you know, like genuinely checking in and making sure that I was doing all right, you know. And I think that was part of the things that I was avoiding. And then, like, for me, I grew up in a family that was very Christian, you know, and I'm not saying that's good or bad, you know, but I know what I believe in. And I think, you know, as a kid, when I was going through those struggles, if I would have been more heavily involved with the church community and like my youth pastor or, you know, people of that sort, that I definitely would have had the guidance that I needed to avoid the path that I went down. But obviously I didn't do that because I didn't feel comfortable in that situation. So, like I said, you know, with that dream I have, if there was something like that that could help guide the youth of the community, you know, because that really is the future, I think my life would have looked a lot different, you know.
What I hear you say is community, connection, and care.
Yeah.
3 C's. That was off the top, but do you think you do those 3 things in your community?
I do. I can't necessarily say I do it at the level I want to, but you know, I try my best to help people I see in need, you know, and that's part of community. You know, it's also part of care. So yeah, I think to the best of my ability, I do what I can. You know, I'm kind of limited right now, but I definitely want to continue to do more. So.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing this, and we'll check back in with you in about 9 months if that's cool.
All right, cool, man.
Thank you.